Am I the asshole for yelling at a couple to shut up during a movie? Tonight, my partner and I went to see The Backrooms. We got there just as the movie started, settled into our seats, and started watching. About 30 to 45 minutes into the movie, a couple came in and sat right next to us. Normally, I don't care if people arrive late because I've done it before too. The problem was the amount of noise they made. They were constantly rustling food wrappers, throwing things around, and talking to each other almost nonstop for about 15 minutes. The woman kept burping loudly between conversations. They were only half whispering, but in a quiet theater, it was incredibly obvious. She also kept pointing at the screen saying, "Ooh, ooh, look at that," during completely normal scenes. Then she'd loudly kiss her boyfriend. After putting up with it for around 20 minutes, I finally snapped. I turned to them and said, "Are you two going to keep talking? Or can you shut the fuck up? It's extremely distracting." They just stared at me. Then they didn't say another word for the rest of the movie. So, mission accomplished. I know I probably shouldn't have sworn, but at a certain point, it's ridiculous how some people have absolutely no consideration for everyone else around them. They're the same kind of people who cut you off in traffic while staring at their phones. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for calling out my neighbor after I saw him kick his dog? I live in an apartment complex. My roommates have lived here longer than I have, and apparently, they've had a lot of issues with one of our neighbors. It started after they heard what sounded like a domestic dispute and called the police. The neighbors confronted them afterward and told them to mind their own business. Today, I stepped outside to meet some friends who were waiting in the car. One of those neighbors was walking a little dog. The dog barked at me, and the guy kicked it. It wasn't the hardest kick imaginable, but it was definitely more than just nudging the dog with his foot. The dog is tiny too, small enough that you could seriously hurt it without even meaning to. I looked at him and said, "Did you just kick your dog?" He immediately denied it. I told him it was messed up to kick your dog. Then I loudly told my friends waiting in the car that the guy had just kicked his dog. This is where I might have gone too far. While I was loading my stuff into the trunk, he came back outside with another dog. I said, "All right, now don't kick that one too." He denied it again. I told him I'd seen him do it, got in the car, and left. Later, I texted my roommates to let them know what happened. Apparently, that was a good idea because the neighbors reported me to apartment management. I wasn't home, so my roommate spoke with management instead and explained the long history they've had with these neighbors. Management wasn't upset with us, but they did say to report it if we witness anything like that again. My roommates aren't mad at me for speaking up. They're just worried these neighbors might escalate things because they've caused problems before. I still think I should have said something after seeing him kick the dog. I'm just worried that my second comment might make things harder for my roommates, even though they had nothing to do with it. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking to relax for 10 minutes before making my postpartum wife breakfast? For some background, we had a baby just 1 week ago. Before the birth, we agreed that she'd take her maternity leave first, then I'd take mine once hers ends. That way we'd get more time at home with the baby. Right now, I'm taking care of our 4-year-old pretty much 100% of the time. I'm making his meals, doing bath time, taking him to summer camp, and handling everything he needs. I don't mind because I was already his primary caregiver before this, since my job gives me more flexibility. On top of that, I'm doing all the household chores like laundry, dishes, and cooking. Anytime the baby needs a diaper change, I'm on it. I'm helping with the baby as much as I can too. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing a lot, but I'm not complaining. I'm just in dad mode. I even spent Father's Day giving my wife a chance to sleep while I took both kids out to run errands and buy groceries. The biggest issue is that I work from home. My wife has never really treated my work hours like actual work. I'm constantly asked to do things around the house or for her during the day. I try to help because I do have some flexibility, but I'm still working. Even before the baby, if our 4-year-old was sick or had the day off, I was always expected to stop working because, in her eyes, I was already home. One thing we argue about a lot is that she micromanages everything I do. I'm exhausted by it. Apparently, I hold the baby wrong. I picked the wrong shoes for our son. I should drive in a different lane. I don't even park the car correctly. It feels like I can't do anything without being told there's a better way. This morning, I made oatmeal for everyone while getting our son ready. He ate. I brought my wife a bowl. Then I took him to camp. When I got back, I went straight to work because I was already behind. I even had to take a work call from my laptop in the car outside the house because I couldn't make everyone wait while I got set up inside. By the time the call ended, about 2 hours had passed since she'd eaten. I went upstairs to check on her and the baby. I wasn't on lunch or taking a break. I just had about 20 minutes between work and wanted to lie down with them for a bit. Babies are cute. She asked if I could make her an omelet because she wanted some protein. I said, "Sure. Can I just chill with you guys for 10 minutes first?" She nodded. I was just lying there, looking at the baby, when about 2 minutes later, she asked in an annoyed voice, "Can you make it now?" I got up, a little frustrated, and made the omelet. That turned into a huge fight. I tried to give her some grace because she just had a baby. I stayed calm, didn't argue, and made her a really good omelet with spinach, ham, and cheese. When I brought it upstairs, she got angry and said she didn't want it anymore and told me to throw it away. I brought it back downstairs, didn't say a word, saved it instead of throwing it out, did the dishes, and went back to work. It just didn't feel like a battle worth fighting. About an hour later, she came downstairs. I offered her the omelet since I'd saved it for her. She told me I was an asshole, said she'd already made herself food, and told me I never had to make her food again because, in her words, you obviously didn't want to. When I tried to talk about what happened, it turned into me always being the victim and being too sensitive. Am I the asshole for telling my guests it's better they don't come to our wedding after they complained about it so much? We're getting married in less than 2 months. Our RSVP deadline was a month ago, and every single guest responded, except one couple. We had to keep chasing them just to get an answer. Yesterday, they finally replied. They said they were free to come. But along with their RSVP, they sent us a really long message explaining how expensive and inconvenient it would be for them to attend. They said the whole weekend would be exhausting, that they'd probably spend most of the day hiding in their hotel room, that they'd come to the ceremony and maybe part of the dinner, then head back to their room instead of joining the rest of the celebration. We were honestly shocked. We're paying for everything, the food, the drinks, the parking. We're even covering everyone's accommodation at a really nice lakeside hotel. Their biggest expense is the gas for a 4-hour drive there and back. They also complained about our dress code. We're having a black tie wedding. The funny thing is, they already own clothes that fit the dress code. They wouldn't need to buy anything new. But they complained about that too. After reading the message, we told them that if coming was going to be that stressful and miserable for them, then it would probably be better if they didn't come at all. We made it clear we weren't angry. If someone can't make it, or simply doesn't feel up to it, that's completely okay. There were no hard feelings. But we basically uninvited them. I know it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of our wedding budget, but each guest is costing us around $600. I really didn't want to spend $1,200 on 2 people who didn't even seem like they wanted to be there. Now they're furious with us. They refuse to speak to us. And we're starting to wonder if maybe we were too harsh. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking people not to lock a public bathroom? For some context, I'm 26 and I work in a strip mall where all of the businesses share one restroom in the back. There's a hallway connecting several of the stores so we can all access it. The problem is, people keep locking the main bathroom door while they're inside. The bathroom has 2 stalls, so if one person locks the door, nobody else can use the second stall. I work by myself, so every time I need the bathroom, I have to lock up my store. More than once, I've come back to annoyed customers because nobody was there to help them. It's incredibly frustrating, especially when I'm left standing in the hallway knowing there's another empty stall inside. Eventually, I left a polite note asking people not to lock the main door if the other stall was available. The next time I went back, my note was gone. In its place was another note that basically said, "We'll stop locking the door when men stop using the women's restroom." Personally, I've never seen that happen, but I also can't say it isn't an issue. So I wrote another note. I said I understood their concern, but by locking the door, they were preventing every other woman in the building from using the bathroom too. I also asked that if they really needed to lock the door to feel comfortable, they at least not sit in there scrolling on their phones. About a week later, both notes had disappeared, and nothing changed. In fact, one day another woman left her store at exactly the same time I left mine. We both walked down the hallway toward the bathroom together. She got there first, locked the door, and locked me out. Now I'm starting to wonder if I'm the unreasonable one. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for calling out my mom after she changed my aunt's birthday dinner to a restaurant she preferred? Yesterday, my mom invited me to a Thai restaurant for my aunt's 73rd birthday. It was my aunt's actual birthday. When I got there, about 8 family members were already there. But the birthday girl wasn't. We called my aunt and found out she was sitting at a completely different Thai restaurant. As soon as she realized everyone was waiting somewhere else, she came over. When she walked in, she looked disappointed. Honestly, I felt terrible for her. Later that day, I was at my son's t-ball game, talking with my husband. I joked that someone was bound to end up at the wrong Thai restaurant because the names were so similar. That's when my mom said, "Well, your aunt wanted to go to the other restaurant because it's her favorite." But I didn't want to go there because they changed owners, and I don't think the food is good anymore. I was shocked. I said, "Mom, if Aunt wanted to celebrate her birthday there and was literally sitting there waiting for all of us, then that's on you for telling everyone to go somewhere else just because you don't like that restaurant." I told her my aunt looked genuinely disappointed because she didn't get to celebrate her birthday where she'd chosen. My mom replied, "I don't care. If I'm paying for a meal, I want to enjoy it. I'm not giving my money to a restaurant I don't like. I invited you and your cousin, and if you invite someone to dinner, you have to pay for them." She also told me I didn't really have a right to say anything because she'd paid for my meal. I'm genuinely grateful that she paid, but I don't think that means I have to pretend my aunt's birthday wasn't hijacked. What also confused me was that my mom didn't even pay for my aunt's meal, even though it was her birthday and she was the one who organized the dinner. She kept defending herself and genuinely believes she did nothing wrong. Eventually, I just said, I don't want to talk about this anymore because it's making me frustrated. My husband heard the entire conversation and agreed that the birthday person should have been the one choosing the restaurant, especially since my mom already knew where my aunt wanted to go. The biggest issue for me isn't even the restaurant. It's that this feels like part of a pattern. My mom often puts what she wants ahead of everyone else, even during events that are supposed to be about someone else. Then she acts like everyone else is unreasonable for being upset. So, am I the asshole for calling her out and telling her she made my aunt's birthday about herself? Would you rather be a werewolf or a vampire? I've always liked werewolves and vampires, so I came up with this question. But I changed the rules to make it a fair choice. If you become a vampire, you're immortal. The sun won't burn you, but the second it rises, you immediately pass out. Garlic doesn't affect you either. The downside? You're constantly starving. You completely lose control around humans and have to feed on them. Animal blood won't keep you alive. If you don't feed, you'll slowly turn into a monstrous bat creature. Now, if you become a werewolf, you can live anywhere from 100 to 200 years. You can transform whenever you want, and you'll still be in control. The transformation is painful but manageable. The catch? Every single full moon, you're forced to transform. The pain is 1,000 times worse. You become a full-fledged werewolf with absolutely no control. You can't be contained. You'll cause unimaginable death and destruction, and you'll be fully aware of everything you're doing, but completely powerless to stop it. So, which one are you choosing? You're locked in a room and can't leave until you complete one of these impossible tasks. You've been kidnapped and locked in a room. You have food, water, and somewhere to sleep. But you can't leave until you successfully complete one of these tasks. And they don't have to be done in a row. First option, flip a water bottle and land it upright 10,000 times. You get a partially full bottle, and every successful landing counts. Second option, make 10,000 basketball shots. You get a standard hoop and ball, but every shot has to be from 12 feet away. Third option, solve 1,000 unique chess puzzles. You get a chessboard, a book to learn chess, and 1,000 puzzles with different levels of difficulty. Fourth option, bench press 50 kilograms or 110 pounds 5,000 times. You get a standard bench, bar, and weights. And finally, learn 25 different songs on piano. You get a book to learn piano and sheet music for 25 songs. Each song is 3 to 4 minutes long, and you have to play each one from memory, start to finish, with no mistakes. Again, none of these tasks have to be done all at once. You just have to finish the total number required. So, which task are you picking? So, which story was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's stories, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another episode. And if you have any crazy Reddit stories you'd like to see featured, let us know in the comments. Now click the video on your screen for another crazy Reddit story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.